Several people are now behind bars following protests in Alexandra, Johannesburg yesterday. A group calling themselves the Alex Dudula Movement, not to be confused with Operation Dudula, attacked several foreign-owned shops in the area. Well, the group blames illegal foreigners for spikes in crime, drug dealing and stealing their jobs. Police say they won't allow the group to shut down the area.
To happen? Absolutely not. Lawlessness will definitely not be allowed. We'll be out in our large numbers tomorrow. We'll not divulge the whole information here, but we are putting measures in place to ensure that there is law and order tomorrow.
Well, Govan Whittles is on the ground tracking this story for us. He joins us now live with the latest. Govan, thanks so much for joining us. What happened yesterday? Were any of the concerns by this self-appointed movement legitimate, or is it just pure xenophobia at work?
Well, it does appear that they may have different intentions or an agenda, but what's clear this morning, Annika, is that the support they claim to have in Alexandra simply isn't there, and they've called for a 5-day shutdown, but as you'd see behind me, things are almost back to normal in Alexandra. Yesterday's confrontation with the police and the Alex Dudula Movement's hunting down of foreign nationals, chasing them with bricks and machetes, does seem to have impacted the hawkers in the area. But as for the normal shop owners, you see behind me, many of them have reopened. About half of them have actually opened this morning. The other half saying they're still concerned that the Dudula protest may start again. And let's bring one of these shop owners in now. His name is Mr. Ali Mohammed. He owns one of these furniture and cell phone shops here. Mr. Mohammed, thank you so much for your time. So just tell me, among the shop owners, how many of you have decided to reopen today?
Actually, you can see how the area is, half of area is closed already. And people are scared if something is gonna happen. So half of them is open, half is closed. So the situation is like scary. That's why we decided to not open, and we'll see how it's gonna go, these things, and then we're gonna open again.
Yeah, and where we're standing right now is actually a good example of the damage that's been done. Usually the area behind us is full of hawkers, yes. Right? Just tell us what the usual situation is and what the difference is now.
You see at the moment right now, if you can see, all of them are closed. About 80% is closed. 20% is open, and this skill is scared about to open, that the fight is gonna be happen. So that's why they're not open already.
All right, thank you so much for that, Mr. Ali Mohammed. So yeah, the informal trade is really being the hardest hit because of that protest yesterday, but it doesn't seem to have deterred some of the other shop owners. And where we are right now is a haven for foreign nationals and their shops. This is where most of their shops are located, and this was the area targeted by the Alex Dudula Movement. Should point out that just around the corner there is a heavy police presence, and they have been going around Alexandra trying to put out some fires that have been started to block roads, but as yet there has been no confrontation between the Alex Dudula Movement and foreign nationals in the area, or the Alex Dudula Movement and the police. It's back to you, Annika.
Govan, do you get the sense that the police are ready to clamp down on those that attack foreign nationals, or that they're taking a more sort of standoffish approach and rather sort of, standing back and letting the situation play out?
There certainly is a bigger police deployment in the area, and they do seem ready to respond to the Alex Dudula Movement. What's interesting is that the police are actually working with the Alexandra Taxi Association, and they've been going around clearing the roads, obviously, so that the taxis could operate. But that has dissuaded a number of the young men that have been gathering in groups, seeing the taxi associations arrive and break up their protest. So that's been able to stop it before it starts. But the police are here with their water cannons overhead. We can hear a police helicopter that's flying, or it looks like it's maybe a small aircraft. And there's also a number of police vans and a Nyala that's stationed in Alexandra. So they're ready, but as yet there haven't been any confrontations.
Quick last question, Govan. I remember when there was the big xenophobic uprising a few years ago and the foreign nationals closed their shops. A lot of locals who weren't involved in any of the violence were really quite dissatisfied, because they said that the locals were charging far more for basic goods than the foreign nationals were, and so they were actually losing out in the long run.
They were indeed, but it does appear that there have been channels of communication open between the foreign shop owners as well as the South Africans here. Looks like that's running through the taxi associations. That's certainly what we've observed. But there does appear to be more coordination between the foreign nationals and the police. And this time it doesn't look like the traditional spaza shops that are on each corner are being targeted. Instead, it appears that the target is only the informal traders and hawkers along the busy sections, busy roads in Alexandra, which is close to the Pan-African Mall, and the Magistrates Court, and really is where the commercial sector is based here in Alexandra.
All right, Govan Whittles, thanks so much for being there for us. We'll check in with you a little later to see if the situation remains calm as it is this morning.